I'm on it. Thank you all so much for coming. Sandy and I are really, really impressed that so many friends came out on a gorgeous day like this to do politics on a weekend, on the Lord's Day. And, you know, with football compelling some of us, which means you're all kicked out at 8:30. No, there are 4 floors and football on 4 floors, but we are most thrilled to have a really distinguished candidate here. David Grasso is our neighbor and our friend, and his beautiful wife Sarah have joined us tonight just weeks after announcing his campaign, and it has been a very exciting announcement because normally when somebody announces, people yawn and say, okay, that's great, and you don't have a chance, and you know, give you about 100 reasons why it's a foolish and silly thing to do because incumbents can't be beat. What's being buzzed about right now all over our town, and some of you I know live in the suburbs, what's going on right now is people are actually saying this is a guy that we haven't seen the likes of for a long, long time. And D.C. politics is something that, as we all know, is full of its challenges and its, you know, peccadillos. But David has worked in D.C. politics. David is a graduate of Georgetown University Law School. He's a native of D.C. He also spent a number of his childhood years and early teen years on a farm in Virginia, which taught him a lot about hard work. And as somebody from the middle of the country, you know, what the farm and ranch economy means to our lives and our legacy. But he met Sarah in San Antonio. It changed his life in the same way that meeting Sandy in Baltimore changed mine. I think he's really brave to do this. I thought when I first heard it, he must be crazy. Having met his campaign team and seen their strategy and sort of having a little bit of background in politics but none in local politics, I can tell you, except for Mayor O'Malley, I really haven't done much local stuff. And it is really impressive to me that these folks intend to win. I think they have a plan that's going to win. His agenda is exactly what we're looking for in these times. Reform agenda, fiscal responsibility. And if you look at his announcement, which again was a few weeks ago at Colonel Brooks Tavern in this neighborhood, Brookland, where we all 4 live, it's a beautiful thing. You can read it, you can hear it online. It is a beautiful thing. I'm so proud that Aaron, his campaign manager, has made it back now because we sent, I think, 3 people in 3 different directions to pick up our major VIP, Howard Park IV, who's another local macher in this town. But without any further BS or ado, this guy is going to win. You are on the ground floor of it. Your $20.12 means a whole heck of a lot right now. His first reporting period was $20,000 north of that. It's really impressive. And David Grasso, we're so proud to have you at our house.
So it's great to be here. I do appreciate everybody coming out tonight to kind of hear what I have to say, and appreciate George and Sandy hosting it, and of course Sarah, who helped throw together a lot of the food and stuff. As well as my campaign team, who's done a lot to make this thing happen really early. We are in the early stages. We kicked off on September 17th, and we actually raised $28,000, which is a big deal in this town to be able to raise some money in the first month and show folks that we're serious. As George said, you know, I felt a real affinity to George as soon as I met him because of our San Antonio connection. He spent a lot of time down there. When I heard that he was worked down there, and Sarah and I had worked there for a year and a half, I knew I wanted some advice from him, and I knew I wanted to work with him. And seeing all of you all here means a lot to me because it really shows George is who he is, and really puts a lot on my plate to make sure that I stick with him and work hard with him on this. So I appreciate you all being here. It's really important. I just want to say a couple of things. I'm not going to talk long. I'm really here to answer your questions. And talk with you and get you, kind of let you know who I am. So, as George said, I'm a native Washingtonian in the sense that I was born here. I did, however, get a great opportunity to live when I was a child on a farm in northern Virginia, where we did everything that you can imagine that a farm has when it comes to the traditional sense. It was a small organic farm. But my mom made a big deal move for me in 1987. She moved us back into the city into Petworth on Rock Creek Church Road, and it's kind of at that time when I really began to, my passion really began to grow in this, for this city. I was 16 years old, started working at Colonel Brooks Tavern here in the neighborhood, and every night would drive back at 3 or 4 in the morning to our house over on Rock Creek Church Road, and see the city in its best and its worst times. And so when I came back to D.C. after a number of years and went to law school, I wanted to go back and serve the community that I was really blessed to get to know, and that's why I joined the city council and worked for Sharon Ambrose for the first 5.5 or 6 years of my career, doing nitty-gritty D.C. council work. I was a staffer there for that period and did a lot of different things for her. But I also, again, learned how the city worked and got to be more and more passionate about how the city operated. And then I worked for Eleanor Holmes Norton for 2 years. The thing about the city, when I left the city at that time, working for the city, was that it was heading in the right direction. I believe that we had a good mayor, we had Tony Williams, we had a decent council, and the fact that folks were able to continue to move stuff forward that we needed to move stuff forward with. I see at this point in our council problems that are beginning to move us off the track. The track that, and the trajectory that we want to go on is to continue to move forward to be a world-class city, and I just slowly see us going the wrong way. And so when I thought about running for office earlier this year, and frankly it came around when Harry Thomas, our local council member, started getting in trouble, I started thinking, what could I do to make this better? And I think Sarah got sick of me screaming at the news and throwing the newspaper around in the morning because I'm really passionate about it, and it really upset me. And Sarah said, you should consider running for office. And so I went and talked to Sharon Ambrose, who was my boss for so long, and she said, yes, you should do this. And so that's why I'm stepping up to the plate. And I'm stepping up for a couple of basic reasons beyond that. Number one, I think that the city council right now, with all of its distractions, is not able to do the kind of work that's necessary in order to move the city forward in a couple of areas. But one in particular is our budget. Our budget is an inflated budget right now. We have over $10 billion budget for 600,000 people. That's about $17,000 a year per person. It's greater than almost any city in the entire country. And the question you have to ask is, what is that being spent on? Where is that money benefiting us or not benefiting us in this city? Frankly, I think with all the distractions on the council and the real lack of leadership on the council, nobody's asking those questions right now. And that's really what I want to go and do when I get up there. I want to spend the time digging into the city budget, figuring out where the money's spent, and figuring out how we can spend it better. I think that's extremely important. I also am very passionate about continuing to move forward our education reform efforts. You cannot have a city grow and become a world-class city unless you have an education system that allows people to stay here once their children get to be older than 3, I would guess 2 or 3 years old. And, I'm sure every parent in the city is thinking, what am I going to do with my child when it gets to be in middle school or when it gets to be in high school age? And I think Mayor Fenty, for all his faults, did a good thing by turning our school system on its head and trying to get it going forward in the right direction, including Michelle Rhee. And maybe what we needed was a real kick in the, to get it going in the right direction. And now the question is, who's responsible for keeping that going forward? Who's the person or the group of people in this city that are going to do that? Our citizens can only do so much. The government has to step up and do that. And I believe right now the city council, the way it's formed, is not capable of doing that because of the distractions that they have both in their personal lives and in their work lives. So as a full-time council member, I'm going to go up there and continue to push this entire education reform effort forward and continue to make it move forward. This is something I want to do mostly because I really love this city. I think it's a great city. I think it has the potential to be the greatest capital city in the world. And so I'm really happy that you guys came out tonight to kind of hear what I have to say. And I hope that you'll, if you have any questions, if you have any ideas around ethics reform or around budget issues that you'd like to bring up that you think I should know about, if you could let me know that would be really great. And certainly tonight or on our website at grossoatlarge.com, there's a way for you to submit comments and send us emails and really be engaged. We've only been doing this for a couple months. I have to say it's a new world for me in the kind of private sector where I've been. It's been nice to hang out and come home at night and relax and now I'm going to 2 or 3 events a night, which is exciting and fun. And I've met some great folks, and it's really been a good experience. So our claim to fame is that beyond the money, we also had over 100 people donate in the first period. And we also had we went to 41 events in the first 20 days. So I think that's a big deal for us, and we're going to keep doing that. The election is a year from tomorrow. And, you know, if I didn't say it before, I'm running as an independent. That's why it's a year from tomorrow and not an April primary, and I hope that I have your all support. So if there's any questions, please just let me know.